It's June 9th. Where are we at with this negotiation between the MLB and the MLB Players Association? Let's get right into it. Jeff Passan of ESPN laid out the details very nicely of the most recent offer the owners have made and basically broke it down to say that they are offering 75% of the full prorated salary over a 76-game season. Let me show you the tweet here that he first shared. However, there's even an asterisk to that. From what we've heard, all this entire negotiation is that the players, they want prorated salary. So even that isn't going to satisfy what the players are looking for. However, further down in this thread, Passan gets into the details, and it's actually the only thing that's guaranteed is 50% of the prorated salaries for the players. We get to set a potential of 75% with basically non-guaranteed money, payment for postseason, bonus pools, things like that. So really the only thing guaranteed is 50% of prorated salaries over the 76 games. But let's keep it at that 75% of the prorated salary. We're more used to talking in terms of individual teams when we're talking about payroll. So let me break it down this way. The Minnesota Twins, they were projected to have a $131 million payroll in 2020. So when we prorate that to 76 games, essentially what the players would like, we get all the way down to $61.5 million. Now, what is the owners, essentially the number they appear to be comfortable with, is 75% of the prorated salary, which in this Twins example comes to $46.1 million. So where are we off? How far are we off if we're talking about this and breaking it down to an individual team like the Minnesota Twins? That is a difference of $15.4 million. Obviously, we can have this conversation with all 30 teams, but $15.4 million, it's obviously a lot of money. In baseball terms, it's really not. It is kind of mind-blowing that this is what's preventing a deal from happening. I've been pretty firm this whole time that I am on the player's side. I did a video on that earlier. The sad part about this whole thing is we know exactly what's going on now. This is all about money. It is not about safety. Safety is a factor in it, for sure. But right now, they're not coming into an agreement on how the 2020 season will be played, solely based on money. And I don't expect, I think the players' requests are fair. I don't expect them to budge. I think ownership, certainly without opening up all their books and proving the kind of losses they're expecting or that they've experienced, ownership should be expected to be able to meet those demands. It's not happening. I wish we wouldn't have to go into this conversation, but let's figure out how we're going to get that $15 million. How are we going to satisfy that amount that the owners aren't willing to pay? We broke that down in the Twins conversations where we got that money. How do we find $15 million to make everybody happy? Because that's what we need, and more money in a $10 billion industry. Somehow we have to be creative as fans and come up with a way to get these guys back into baseball. These guys who should be the 30 biggest baseball fans in the world, we got to find $15 million for them. So how do we do that? Well, yes, revenue is going to be down without fans in attendance. There's no questioning that. You can't tell me there's no way you can try to make that money up with what I expect is going to be ridiculous TV ratings. We haven't had sports in a long time here, especially baseball fans. It's been forever. We're desperate for our Major League Baseball teams to come back. Some of the TV contract stuff, I imagine, is pretty much set in stone. There's probably not a way to renegotiate that stuff based on expected increase in ratings potentially. However, what you can do is open up the door for more advertising. That's the biggest idea I have. That's really the only great idea I have to supplement these billionaires who apparently need more money to get the game back going. Just throw ads on everything. It's not going to hurt my enjoyment of the game. It doesn't bother me that the stadium's called Target Field, a corporate sponsorship. It doesn't bother me that there's, Treasure Island signs all in the outfield and whatever else is at Target Field. So it's really not going to break my heart if you slap some logos on the jerseys. If that's how you need to make $15 million to bridge that gap between what the players want and what you're willing to pay, that's fine. If you think about it, a lot of our entertainment, a lot of our media is based off revenue from advertising anyway. Any website you visit for free, a lot of times the way that website operates is based off of revenue from advertising. And yes, baseball does operate in that space, but not nearly to the extent of other leagues. If you want to keep it domestic, take a look at the Major League Soccer, and soccer around the world, really. It's a very commonplace to have brands on right on the front and center on the jerseys. It's not weird at all. If you want to keep it within baseball, but look elsewhere, plenty of examples of that as well. The KBO, as we mentioned, looking at the LG Twins, they've got ads all over their jerseys. I don't think any Korean baseball fan enjoys the game any less because of those advertisements. So if that's really where we're at right now, and that's the way to make up that difference, figure it out. Is it fair to expect that advertising revenue could bridge the entire gap between the owners and the players? Maybe not. However, that new brand deal MLB has with Nike is expected to rake in $3 million per team every season over the next 10 years. So there's definitely big money involved in allowing brands to associate with Major League Baseball in such a personal and intimate way like that as getting your logo on the jersey. So there's definitely, it can only help. It can only help make up that gap. It's disgusting that we are having to try to figure this out. But I don't see the players budging. I don't see the owners budging. So what we're left with is trying to figure out, well, how do we get even more money involved in this $10 billion industry that doesn't even want to pay its minor leaguers a living wage? That's where we're at.